One other new coach that I want to just touch on here for a second. At the time of us recording, Florida hanging in the top 15, number 13, Jon Sumrall and the guys. Kind of a unique situation with that whole timeline and Billy Napier's firing and Jon Sumrall's hiring in the last week. What do you think of the Gators, Josh, and just the overall outlook if you're a Florida fan when it comes to Sumrall and his ability to recruit here? Level they expect in Gainesville.
It was huge for them to be able to hold on to their top commitment. And I say that because of the segment we just talked about with LSU. The Gators' top commitment, Davian Gross, an elite wide receiver from the state of Texas. So you don't have that same access to him. Like we saw, Lane Kiffin got introduced at LSU on Sunday, and they called up Lamar Brown and asked Lamar, hey, can you come up? Well, he's 20 minutes from campus. Yeah, Lamar Brown showed up on campus and has photos with Lane Kiffin. But Jon Sumrall's top recruit is in the state of Texas. The Sharks are circling. You know it's not going to be easy to hold on to a top 150 recruit from out of state when you're in the midst of a transition like they are. They're able to hold on to him. I thought that was huge. CJ Bronow was another one that Ohio State offered 3 weeks before signing day. He had already flipped once from Nebraska. He's an in-state Florida from Windermere, Florida. He's an in-state kid, so he ends up sticking it out. KJ Ford. What do you do when Mike Elko's after one of your recruits?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, Jon Sumrall, it was Jon Sumrall and Billy Napier. They both held him off because KJ Ford never flipped that commitment. That was huge. You know, just the ability to hold on to what they had. I know Carson Baker left the class. Maybe there's a couple other pieces that I'm misremembering right now, but for the most part, you did not see a huge defection despite a coach coming from a region that isn't necessarily local or known when it comes to Florida Gator recruiting.
I totally get the optics around Jon Sumrall. He's a G5 coach. Hey, is he cut out for the SEC? There's this theory in psychology called activation energy, which essentially says, like, hey, the hardest part is getting started. Once you get that ball rolling, it just keeps rolling. I think that's Jon Sumrall in Florida. If you just get him in the room with some of these guys. Like, I never met the guy, never been in the same room, but I listened to that press conference, and after hearing him talk about Florida and the job he was excited to do, and again, press conferences aren't everything, but if that's the overall temperature and tenor he's going to take to this job, I think he's going to crush it on the recruiting trail. If it truly is just about that and the resources to back him, I think he's going to crush it, Josh.
Yeah, I don't think there's a huge secret. If you put in the effort and you have the right – I think there's like three major things that make you a great recruiter. One is the effort that you put in. Two is the logo on your shirt. And three is your personality. And you don't even have to have a great personality if the other two are really well. And now I guess you add in NIL. That's a big helper too in recruiting. But, you know – a little personality, and Sumrall has that football personality. Like you put him in a room at a dance competition, and he probably has no personality. But you put him in a locker room, and he has the right personality. So I think it's an interesting hire. Not necessarily. I think it's interesting because it's the same direction they went last year, which is why so many of the UF fans turned against the hire early on until the presser.
Yeah.
He moved the ball in the presser.
Didn't he ever?
He moved the ball down the field because you had a lot of people on X, a lot of fans on message boards saying, no way you're going to sell me on another G5 hire after Billy Napier flamed out, blah, blah, blah. Well, they were singing a whole different tune after his presser.
He strikes me as the right kind of psychotic.
Yeah.
He strikes me as like the right kind of crazy. And I know people want to do the comp with Napier, Sumrall, same guy. And it's like, well, actually one played linebacker in the SEC, one played quarterback at Furman. No knock on Furman, but like different personality
and you almost always see these coaching changes go in the exact opposite personality. And Billy Napier was calm in the storm. You know, at least these were the selling points. I'm not saying this is how the image he went out with, but when they hired him, he was calm. He came from the Saban tree. He worked his way up, and he's going to have this huge staff, and he's going to be the CEO, and he's going to delegate. That's why they hired 100 people army to come recruit. Whereas like Summerall's like no. This is just, not, I don't want to say he's a caveman, but he comes in with that like caveman mentality, which was so different than Billy Napier.
Is that the biggest difference for you between Sumrall and Napier? Maybe from a recruiter perspective.
Yeah, from my perspective. Like he's just a guy, like a get her done. We're going to get it done with a bunch of wins. We're going to go out and recruit. We're going to play some hard-nosed football.
We're going to hit some people in the mouth.
Yeah.
He's talking about his defense. He goes, we got some killers on that side of the football.
Yeah. And they do.
Yes.
They do.
To be fair, Napier didn't leave the cupboard bare.
No, not at all. Yeah. Recruiting was not a problem during the Billy Napier tenure.